Brought to you by AwesomeDrinks.com. It's Jen's birthday this month. Use coupon code JENS37 and save 15% on everything you purchase.
Take off your roller skates! It's time to make a cocktail! 1960s style! No drive-thrus! You only can see this streamed on the internet! Doug? Curd? Curd is apparently in a haze of marijuana infested face. LSD. You've been dropping acid or whatever that is you can do back in the 60s. I don't really know. I wasn't born. Barbiturates. We are all up in the barbiturates.
We're going to do Quaaludes like, whoa.
What is it? What is going on here?
I mean,
why do you give me this tiny little shake? Why you're actually going to use it?
There's not a lot going on.
I'm going to do it.
Okay.
It's a small drink.
It is a small drink. That's
Anyway,
right. The Harpoon?
I'm happy that he said.
Okay, so a Harpoon.
You didn't have to. This is called the Harpoon. You stab it.
This predates the Cosmo.
You guys both did that.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Shit that.
So this is prior to Cosmo. Why are we using Grey Goose out of all the different vodkas that you had to
Because
choose
he wanted
from?
a Russian vodka.
And I didn't have any.
Yeah, you did.
What about the sample right there? There's a Russian standard.
Oh.
You want to use that instead? Is
Or
that
You have an ounce and a half.
dude, if we can use this. Yeah. So why would you have used Grey Goose? This is from St. Petersburg, actually.
give it here. I got it.
Is there an ounce and a half in there?
Yeah, there will be.
So
There
you're
is now.
searching for a true Russian product because this is when the Russians brought their vodka here, right?
Yeah, I mean, after the war,
There was a war. A couple of them. Which
we were
one?
talking about the 30s. This starts to
This
World
is
War II.
World War II.
Yeah.
So you're 20 years after.
I know, but it takes a little time for things to happen. But Coca-Cola goes over to Russia and says, we'll give you Coca-Cola.
Okay, the brand.
And in return, we'll take in Stoli, and we'll sell Stoli in America.
I could use a Stoli shaker.
Interesting.
So
Yep.
why don't you pour from the right place? He's got a pour spout and he doesn't use it. Drives me fucking crazy.
I don't know.
Does it drive you crazy?
Oh man, I just don't understand.
So here's your timeline. Cold War, JFK, Cuban Missile Crisis, Civil Rights Movement, moon landing, and Vietnam.
So we should really be in Vietnam by now, but
In
we
the
don't care
60s.
about that because there's no Russians in Vietnam.
No.
It's containment.
Containment. What do you mean? I thought containment was
They're
what they
containing
did
the
to the
Russians
Japanese
in
during
Vietnam.
World
It's
War II.
containing
The reason why we're fighting the war in Vietnam is to contain the Russians.
I
Right,
see.
right. From the spread of communism, because they already had.
We know how that
They were
works.
already in North Korea. We know how Korea ended up, and then they were just gonna keep going further south.
And we know we hate when other people
Which is
have.
why you had North Vietnam and South Vietnam.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about the Harpoon real quick, with this being a precursor to the Cosmo. You have your vodka, and we're using Russian Standard is our Russian vodka. We have cranberry juice, and we have 2 ounces cranberry juice and quarter lime juice.
It's unbalanced.
It's not going to be balanced. I think this is going to
It's
be
gonna
really
be
rough.
dry,
Yeah.
dry and sour.
Shake it.
Yep. Dry and sour is
I
what
love
I
this.
am.
You love
I
those,
totally could get like. I love this.
except for it makes a really, really tiny drink. Tiny, little tiny drink.
It's so cute.
What did you drop down there? I thought I heard it at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. So it's pink.
Oh, cool color.
Whoa.
Sorry.
That's they didn't believe in garnishes back in the 60s, huh? Too much work.
Really,
It's really nice looking.
Yeah.
I like that color.
I like it too.
It looks
that's
like prickly
Cosmos.
pear.
I mean, Cosmos have that same look.
It looks like
Yeah,
prickly
they really do.
So do Cape
it's
Codders and
it's the cranberry
Yeah.
in the beverage.
balanced or unbalanced.
Well, you can taste vodka. Not really that unbalanced. It's just it's not as sour as it should be, is it? Don't you feel like you should get more sour out of that?
It's actually more balanced than you would think.
No, you still get a heavy push of tart from the cranberry.
Well, the cranberry is definitely
Well, it's cranberry.
present, but
Yep.
it's not.
It's mostly cranberry.
It's not like the lemon lime shit show, which was
2 days ago in the 30s.
the lime juice? Lime water?
no the one last week.
Yeah.
The Tiki's?
Yeah, the one tiki that was like all lemon and lime.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't like that, huh?
Yeah,
I thought it was fun. Yeah, both of you didn't like that, right? Or maybe you did.
I didn't like it either.
Are you not a sour drinker?
That was
No,
the
I can
one.
do sour. I just didn't like it.
That was the one that was fixed when we put more liquor in it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember.
That happens all the time.
I forgot about that.
Like, oh my god, this is so bad. Put some more liquor in it.
And science worked out, but it's weird how science works. So I mean,
What are your guys' feelings on this? So far with studying the 211, do you think that there's some truth to that?
it always is truth to that. I don't disagree with that. I mean, it completely makes sense. You balance the sweet and the sour.
Sure.
And the rest of it just falls together. Like if you put that together, if you take the sweet and the sour and you put them together, guess what you can make? All kinds of cool stuff. Lemonade, limeade. It's the same thing. You don't even need alcohol in play, right? A lot of the basic stuff we drink, if you look at my passion fruit up there, it's going to be like, unfortunately, high fructose corn syrup or whatever, but it's going to have maybe some passion fruit and pear juice. They use a lot to fill it. It's the same thing. All we're doing is trying to add that third component, which fucks everything up, right? Oh, alcohol. Well, that's going to be different because alcohol some people don't like the alcohol taste. It's a little too much, so you got to balance it in weird ways. I think the harder thing to do is to do a 2-on-1 with the special decors and the things that are very vibrant in flavor and be able to combine them together.
So here's my question: how does 2-on-1 work when you're only using a vermouth?
I would always put the vermouth to the side and just drink straight alcohol.
Yeah, but no. Think about what I'm saying. If you make a martini, how does that work with 2-on-1? Because a martini is a very balanced drink.
Because it's based on the science of vermouth. Vermouth has its own place.
But do you know what I'm saying, Doug?
Vermouth.
I know exactly what you're saying because
It's sweet or sour though. I mean, it's not sour.
for a nice gin martini, you don't have a lot of the dry vermouth in it.
Yep.
It's more or less non-existent,
Mm-hmm.
and you're really leaning on whatever the flavor is of the gin for the.
Hallelujah.
But at the same time, you do have the accoutrements for it. So like your olives or your onions or whatever
Very
you're
dirty
gonna
eggs.
Yeah, but does
sticking
an olive count against the
No.
I think it does count
it-
against it because it impacts that flavor.
So does it count against the sweet or the sour?
It brings
the
salt.
sour.
So an olive is on what side of the spectrum of sour? Like more so than a lime or less than a lime?
Oh, not as much. It's a savory, isn't it? More savory than it is sour.
Right. So I would say in that question, less than a lime.
Less than a lime.
Lime, I think, is right on the
so
extreme.
I think a lime adds.
Lime goes this way until you get to Campari, which
It'd be
makes
kind
it
of cool
bitter.
to have, from a bartender's perspective, to have a chart of, different things in the category of sour
But
and have them broken up by the acidity. Because the acidity is what causes the sour.
exactly. So and that's what I was trying to figure out which side an olive is.
Because it's an oil, it's not an acid.
Right, but then you have the vinegar involved.
Oh, yeah.
Which
From
is
the pickling.
which is the vinegar, so it mutes the sweetness or the inherent sweetness of gin, which it's a grain-based spirit, so it's sugar.
But, or rather,
That was kind of deep.
I know.
put in some Irish cream. If it gets all weird, too much acidity and too much, now you know you've gone in more of the sour direction. So you base it off of something else. I mean, you could use a test strip.
Sure. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
and you could probably figure it out that way, but that's way too much science.
Does it curdle or
Yeah.
does it not?
Boink! Oh, okay, that's sour. You can tell how much lime's in there. I think from
but
this.
you're right. I've
Yeah.
never really thought about the inherent dynamic of a nice gin martini.
And there's other things that fall into that category, like the Manhattan, the old
Things that are
fashioned.
very, very
They're
strict
very
spirit. and then
spirit
something.
forward, spirit forward. So it's how does that fall into the category of 2-1-1?
Those are spirit forward, but at the same time, especially with your example of the old fashioned, you introduce bitters.
But bitters from everything I've read about 2-1-1 doesn't count against the formula. It's only there to bond and for aromatics.
But that makes the drinks better. So you can throw off the balance a little bit and go 2.111 or something.
All right, so with the old fashioned, with the citrus, with the orange, right? So
the oil sprit at the end. Yeah.
Right on the top.
I would assume that I don't know how that works with the 211, but at the same time, that's the only thing that's bringing.
No. Think about it this way. Okay, so 2 ounces of bourbon.
Sure.
Okay, so that you know how much your set measurement is. So the next one should be 1 to 1, right? Well, what's the next ingredient in your old fashioned?
Bourbon. More of it.
Sugar.
Yeah, it's simple syrup.
Well, you shouldn't.
You could use it.
All right,
it's a
fine.
You
sweetener.
could use it, but yeah.
Sugar.
Okay, so your sugar. Well, a healthy dose of that sugar is way more than the oil that you're spritzing towards the end of it.
Okay.
So, like, it's actually already off balance unless the oil is, like, portioned out to the sugar that you're
The
putting.
oil from the rind.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
That doesn't. You can't portion out oil.
Well, you would have to know how much you're giving to the cocktail.
This much. Is that how you measure it?
Yeah, but it's the same as a dash. So it's like, if that's a dash, then why wouldn't you only have a dash of sugar?
It doesn't work that way. Because there are cocktails
And
that don't categorize. They just like people like, I like that taste. Done.
I'm sorry, but I believe like the bitters, like especially Angostura, like any citrus in that particular cocktail is going to be amplified just by adding the bitters.
Okay.
So you're thinking that that's what makes it taste. It's a virtual sweetness.
Correct. Yeah, we have to jump off this. I think Ian's falling asleep.
No, he's already he's passed out. Oh, he's on his.
Texting.
Okay, so with this drink, I find it to be. Look, this is what happens. If I go to a bar and I order this drink right now,
Sure.
if it costs me $14, I'm going to be extremely disappointed.
I agree with that.
This is like a $6 cocktail at a bar in New York.
Okay, now let's have this same conversation. You come in and you order a Cosmo. Mm-hmm. I say to you, I could make you the grandfather to the Cosmo. And I will put it together in such a way that I use the ingredients that they would have used at that time period during the 60s.
Okay. You're gonna.
Are you intrigued? Are you intrigued?
Sure,
You'd be all fucking over.
You wrote a story around it. That's different than. I still don't want to pay $14 for it.
Did you get this, Jennifer?
Yeah, I didn't think it was okay.
It's a tame
Do you complain about
cranberry based
$14 at that point?
Heck yes.
For vodka, yeah.
No.
Okay, so
No.
she's going on the vodka.
To answer your question, no. You don't, because your clientele is already invested in the experience.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what that cocktail is there for. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not there because it's a benchmark for anything that it's done. There's actually other recipes.
It's a good sales technique.
No, there's other precursor cocktails that I've seen that refer to Cosmo. They're a little iffy and shaky. This is pretty close. I could totally see this being the authentic precursor to the Cosmo.
But it's boring, right? If you the sales strategy there is if you're a bartender and you wrap that story around that, story's going to sell the drink. But story makes, like you said, okay, now I'm paying $14 for the idea of this is what happened. This is a historical landmark. It'd be like if you go on a tour through a historic district and you go and somebody points out all the stuff and you're paying money. You don't really have anything but knowledge at the end. This is knowledge for your face. Okay, I'll pay $14 for knowledge for my face once.
No.
I'll never buy it again.
The issue is, in our current day and age, like, we are already heavily invested in the experience. There have been so many precursors to anything that we could put in our mouths. We have, like, the entire world at this point as our oyster to be able to try and do anything. And everybody is now trying and doing anything. And when somebody was like, oh, do you want to try the thing that we used to do? You'd be like, oh yeah, I really want to try the thing that we used to do. And it's just a watered down version of the shit that you already expect.
It's very Ringling Brothers.
Right.
Like, you distract with one hand while you flag with the other.
Because you're paying for the walk down memory lane once. Yeah, I don't go on
It's
the
not
same
even
tour
memory
twice.
lane.
Yeah, but you're not-
Nobody
Oh, not
has
memory-
that
okay.
memory lane.
Like, a good cocktail bar
The
isn't
experience.
just selling you on that one story. They're selling you on a ton of different stories. So it's like, this is one direction you go. And when they're like, you know what, I didn't like how watery that was. You know from your arsenal, like maybe you go to the one from the Gentleman's Guide for Mixology, or something like that. It's a red book.
But you and the reason that person is paying you for those drinks is because you're driving them through a passage in time.
Yeah.
Right. You're paying for the drive through the passage of time on your face instead of just being, here's a book, read it.
Correct.
Nobody wants to read a book.
Okay, so
they want to freaking experience it, and they can't experience it on their own because I don't really know why. They don't want to.
We're getting close, but let's go and take a look at two different flights. You ever go into a bar and they have like a whiskey flight?
Love it.
Okay. So we have two flights that you can pick from.
A week and a half ago.
Okay. Think about this, guys. So you have two flights that you can pick from. They're the exact same price. Mm-hmm. Okay. The first flight is Modern Tiki, and it's last week's cocktails, all of them.
That's a hard flight.
Okay. This week's cocktails are a flight of history with explanations for the backgrounds on all the cocktails.
Right.
And this week's flight.
Okay.
Which one do you buy?
It depends on where I am. If I'm at a bar in Portsmouth or whatever, I'm going with the Tiki. If I'm at Tales of the Cocktail and there's a bunch of historic people, I'm already in the mood for that. I'm going with the history one.
But we're not
if
talking
I'm
about...
going to a bar day, woohoo! I'm going to go with the Tiki.
Okay, so
either is good.
You're at my place in Boston.
I would do the history one because I assume you know that stuff better than the other thing.
What do you think?
Personally, the Tiki one would intrigue me.
That would be your one?
Right, because you can go to every fucking Chinese restaurant in the continental U.S. and have a different scorpion bowl every freaking time, right? So let's go all Polynesian and tell me why each one is different and significant, which is a lot more difficult. And I know that it's just because I know that. Than going through historical cocktails. I mean, this shit's easy. Those Tiki cocktails are a bitch and a half.
That's true. I'd rather take balls out and just go with the Tiki one because it'd be more fun.
I honestly don't think, and I think maybe this is the question of the day.
There's a question here someplace.
Most people don't realize how difficult real Tiki is to make.
It's a bitch.
Fucking pain in the ass.
It is a pain in the ass.
So, if you go into a Tiki restaurant and you order Fog Cutter, Planter's Punch, Headhunter,
you're clinically dead.
A zombie, whatever you order.
Suffering
if it comes to the table in 2 minutes, if it's there, that's bad. That's really, really bad. And I know that you guys expect the service to be instantaneous because we live in a McDonald's generation.
But we did.
How long did you say? It was all three of us building it, but if you were focused, if everything was in your wells,
still gonna take a while.
I still think that most of those cocktails were
some of those
2 or 3 minute cocktails.
Or 2 or 3 minute cocktails.
But you also got to consider a table of 4 to 6 people, all of them ordering one of every one of those cocktails. You're muddling raspberries on one. You're doing the crazy lime and lemon parade, and then you've got all the other stuff going on all at the same time.
The thing about those cocktails, I don't believe that they scale to a point of efficiency that you would think.
Not at Chili's. Well, at a restaurant like his, where you're okay, if you come back in 10 minutes and you drop all these crazy cocktails, instant happiness.
There's places that I'm going to put out on the board right now that I think that do this very, very well.
Target, you're not one of them.
Okay, Frank's in Vegas.
Okay.
Fucking awesome. Those guys are my heroes. Those guys.
They wear capes.
They've been doing this forever, and they are amazing. Mm-hmm. 3 Dots and a Dash in Chicago. Those guys, they're the men. Do you remember the Tiki glasses from Tiki Farm? The one with the little fez hat and the bowling outfits? The one that had the bowling pin on the back of it?
No.
Those are I think those are the cast of the 3 Dots and the Dash guys. Who else falls into this? The Shrunken Head in Manhattan. Same thing. This is a place that's total Tiki. They've held it down since day one. The Aku in Florida. That's another one that's a big one. I'm just trying to think if there's any others that I kind of left out in the scheme of this whole thing. There's one in San Francisco that I always forget the name of, but it's another just bang.
Change your name, so it's something Kurt can remember.
Anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But they these
25
are the
minutes later.
These are the houses that have really held things together ever since the really much the decline of Tiki culture. It's just gone away. those are the houses that still like hold that shit together.
Hold your shit together.
Yeah.
So go to all those places. Just take a plane because it's gonna take a while to walk there.
Yeah.
Done.
Sure.
Not a huge fan, but again, it's easy to make. You can make it at home. Anybody can make this cocktail, and then you can decide. And at that point, you don't have to do these flights of historic stuff because you just
College
got it all.
students make this accidentally.
Oh, I have some cranberry.
And some vodka. I got a lime.
Classy coupe glasses.
That's not really how college students.
Smuggler's Cove.
They like
Smuggler's
sort of
Cove.
like-
Yeah.
They're like,
Chat room, sorry.
Oh,
Count Curd
okay.
at Smuggler's
Sorry.
Cove.
Yep.
Smuggler's Cove.
Smuggler's Cove. That place is the bomb.
so there you go. Coupe glasses, AwesomeDrinks.com, everydaydrinks.com for everything else. Patreon.com/EFC for funding all this crazy crap I have to do and put up with.
All these crazy people that have to put up with.
Recipe at everydaydrinkers.com is the email address to submit your recipes. We are done. We're teaching you how to drink.